Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Video Clips. And I just want to remind you about a couple of things. One is our upcoming Cancer Boot Camp. It's a Friday night, Saturday afternoon. We do this often. This one is going to be Friday, July 16th from 7 to 9:30 and Saturday afternoon, 17th from 2 to 4. Delivered by teleconference, so you can be anywhere. We're going to talk about the real causes of cancer, the strategies that cancer patients use to survive, how to evaluate conventional and alternative treatments, and the role of diet and lifestyle in a cancer treatment plan. All right, so that's a lot to cover. And what I'm going to try to do is give an overview of about 30 hours of lecture I have. You might get geeked up about taking the rest of the 30 hours, but you'll get a pretty good overview of it during this particular time. And it's $69 for members and $99 for non-members. Free for our cancer concierge clients. This is no charge for you to be participating in it. So, and then remember, we still have our anxiety and depression support groups. Keep those career questions coming. Lots of nurses, doctors, dietitians wanting out of the healthcare system. And if you're not in the healthcare system, but you would like to help people with their health, feel free to email me as well, pampopper@msn.com. And we're going to add some new things to the Curious About COVID workshops after the 4th of July. So if you haven't participated in one of those, I think you'll be excited about what we put in there. So I'll have more to say about that in the next week or so in terms of an upgrade to those. And if you listen to the old one, you can listen to this one too. So today I'm going to deliver the news. And then you can make of the news what you would like to make of the news. I think it's very important that people know what's going on around the country related to COVID. Exeter High School in New Hampshire had its school prom this year with some additional rules for safety. Students were asked to provide a vaccination card, and if they could not do this, they had a number written on their hands. The dance floor was divided into 3 sections, and dancing was periodically stopped in order for students to raise their hands so that supervisors could figure out which students the marked kids were around. This was done to facilitate contact tracing. A notice posted on a website for the Exeter High School Prom 2021 included this announcement. Students will social distance during all events at the prom. Because we're allowing students to dance, it is not the expectation that students will social distance while dancing. There are 3 dance floors, and students who are on each floor will be recorded at regular intervals. It is suggested that students rotate dance floors in order to avoid close contact with other students, except for when they're dancing. It is essential that students comply with this contact tracing process. Students who do not comply will not be allowed to dance and may be asked to leave the prom early. According to the principal, Mike Monahan, no model is perfect, and this model let the students enjoy a close to normal and highly desired experience to cap off their senior year. Gosh, this all sounds perfectly normal and makes great sense to me. According to experts at the University of East Anglia, the Earlham Institute, and the University of Minnesota, you may need to give your dogs and cats a COVID-19 vaccine. The researchers say that evolution of the virus in animals and transmission to humans poses, quote, a significant long-term risk to public health. It is not unthinkable that vaccination of some domesticated animal species might be necessary to curb the spread of infection. The information appeared in an editorial published in the journal Virulence. It's interesting that one of the editorial's authors, Cook Ben Osteret, said that dogs and cats can contract coronavirus, but there were no known cases in which there has been any transmission to humans. He went on to say, or write, it makes sense to develop vaccines for pets, for domestic animals, just as a precaution to reduce the risk of the thing that's never happened before happening, of course. What we need to be as human society, what we really need to be is prepared for any eventuality when it comes to COVID. I think the best way to do this is indeed consider development of vaccines for animals as well. Interestingly, the Russians have already started to develop a vaccine for pets, which there's very little information about, but that shouldn't stop us from acting on it, of course. Yes, this does make perfect sense. I'm sure a dog and cat vaccine are under development right now, so I will come back to you with more information about that when I have it. And then I thought I would share with you the CDC guideline for summer camps so that you can determine if it's going to be safe or not for your children to go camp. There's a very extensive website. To tell you all about it would take the greater part of the afternoon, so I'm just going to share some highlights so that you know what you're getting into. There's a section called Planning and Preparing. It includes strongly encouraging vaccination for all eligible campers and staff. health screening for infectious diseases, including COVID-19, diagnostic and screening tests for COVID-19, managing both confirmed and suspected cases with contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine, establishing correspondence with local and state health departments in case there is an outbreak. Section 2, promote vaccination. CDC recommends that everyone 12 years and older get fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Develop educational messaging for vaccination campaigns to build vaccine confidence. Remind camp families that in addition to COVID-19 vaccination, children and adolescents should continue to get all recommended routine and catch-up vaccinations to protect themselves, peers, and staff from other vaccine-preventable diseases. Current data suggests that COVID vaccines protect against unknown variants. In the event of an outbreak, contact state or local public health department, isolate people with COVID symptoms, ensure that all symptomatic people get tested, quarantine unvaccinated and close contacts of people with symptoms, support COVID-19 case investigation and contact tracing in cooperation with public health officials to determine if they need to intensify prevention measures. Camps where not all are vaccinated should observe these rules. Use well-fitting masks that cover nose and mouth. Avoid crowded indoor activities to reduce exposure. Test people with symptoms or anyone who's been in close contact with a confirmed case who is not yet vaccinated. Contact tracing and isolation and quarantine in cooperation with local health departments. Unvaccinated people should be encouraged to wear a mask outdoors if crowded or during activities that involve close contact with unvaccinated people. For overnight camps, campers should be organized into cohorts that will remain together for the entire camp and not mix with other campers and staff. A household cohort means campers and staff who are staying together in a cabin, bunkhouse, or similar defined space. Household cohort members do not need to wear masks or physically distance when they are together without non-household cohort members nearby. However, campers and staff should always wear masks when together unless staff are fully vaccinated or part of the household cohort or sleep in the same space as campers. When different household cohorts are using shared indoor or outdoor spaces together during the day or night, continue to monitor and enforce mask use, physical distancing, healthy hygiene behaviors for everyone, unless fully vaccinated campers and staff do not need to mask or distance per camp policy. As feasible, have children and staff who are not fully vaccinated eat meals and snacks outdoors or in a well-ventilated space while maintaining physical distance as much as possible. Campers and staff who are not fully vaccinated should avoid group events, gatherings, or meetings where physical distancing between people cannot be maintained. Limit group size to the extent possible. Unless they are fully vaccinated, limit any non-essential visitors, volunteers, and activities involving external groups or organizations as much as possible, including for sporting events. This sounds like a wonderful way to spend the summer. In fact, I can just remember back to when I was in grade school or in middle school, how much fun this would have sounded, because children love this kind of thing. They love being separated from each other and in cohorts and all that sort of thing. So I think these are wonderful guidelines that you should all pay attention to. So this is what's new today. And this is the news for today pertaining to COVID. And I hope that you will be very, very diligent in observing the kinds of rules and regulations that are required in order to keep us all safe. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it. I'll be back to you tomorrow with more news, albeit on an alternative channel. Thank you for watching.